Welcome, everybody. I'm Noell Hyman. I'm with Lynn and Jenny leading your music today, and with Linda. Please rise in body or spirit as we begin our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Known as a drinking song or a fight, rah, rah song.
The story goes that once there was a wise woman traveling all through the mountains. One day, she found a precious stone in a stream. She was so happy and grateful. It could change her life. The next day, she met a man traveling just like her through the mountains. He was hungry, and she was happy to share her food. But as she opened her bag, the man saw the stone. And he knew with this stone, he'd be able to eat all his favorite foods. His mouth watered, imagining all the incredible flavors, all the ways his life would be filled with so much goodness. Instead of the food, he asked, "Can I have that stone?" The woman looked at him. Of course. And just like that, it was his. The man was so happy, he ran quickly away, afraid she would change her mind. A few days later, however, the man appeared again, carrying the stone in his hands. "Take it back," he said. "Instead, I hope you can give me something even more precious than this precious stone. I hope you can give me whatever it is within you that made it so easy for you when I asked to just give it away." In this place, for this hour, we are all trying to learn how it is when we are asked to trust, to love, to give of ourselves, to share our blessings, that we can say an easy and a great yes. And also, we are here to remember we all carry with us a precious stone that is this great blessing, this gift that is just ours, this gift that we long to offer the world, that in our giving will bless us just the same. Let's light our chalice together. We kindle this flame, symbol of our faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of love, which calls us to work for justice. Well, good morning and welcome to Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Melanie, Cloonan-Schulte, Worship Associate, and I think today is the first time in my memory that we've come to this place with a homework assignment. Yes, Reverend Sarah asked us to watch a sermon ahead of time to prepare for our small group discussions today. But if you didn't get a chance to do so and you were not at her installation to hear the original sermon in person, you are still welcome here and you can still participate in our small group discussions. Bell Hooks wrote, "Beloved community is formed not by the eradication of difference, but by its affirmation. By each of us claiming the identities and cultural legacies that shape who we are and how we live in the world." For those of you who are newer to VUU or who don't have a lot of time to get involved beyond showing up on Sunday, today is an opportunity to share who you are and your perspective with others here today in precious community. While this is something a little different than how things are typically done, some things are the same as every week. First, that you are welcome here. And whether it is your first Sunday with us or your 400th, you are among friends. Second, after the service, there will be a trained lay pastoral care associate to lend a listening ear. In the sanctuary, that is Dan Schulte. There's Dan. And online, that is Joyce Donahue. And now let's take an opportunity to wave to our friends who are joining us virtually. If you just wave up to that camera there. All right, so the way that this will work today is we are going to momentarily split into groups of 5 people each. And if you can, try to get with some people that maybe you don't know as well. If you're a married couple, maybe split up. And just the first round is going to be some introductions. We'll have us say names, pronouns, and then just a brief question. And then there will be 3 more rounds of some questions to discuss a little more in detail. We'll have about 8 minutes for those. After that, we will have a little bit of sharing of some things that were shared, and then we'll come back into our larger group. Now, if you have not heard Reverend Jonalu Johnstone's sermon, she noted that our UU congregations have not escaped the trends seen in other religious institutions, and that membership in religious communities and attendance at Sunday services are down, and that this issue will not be solved by looking to the past, but rather by working together to create new ways relevant to the time we're now in. So while we listen to, and please sing along if you wish, the song Building Bridges, we're going to go ahead and move into those groups of 5 people, and there's some chairs already configured along the periphery.
Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
All right, we're going to move on to the first question, and it will appear on the slide. If you are online and have not already done so, if you wish to participate, sign out and sign on to Zoom through the website, and you can participate in these small group discussions as well. The chime will tell you when each question is done and moving on to the next one.
We are at round 2. So the statement and the question are on the slide for you.
right, round 3 is on the slide. Five minutes left on round 3. 3 minutes left on round 3.
We're moving on to round 4. And as soon as the slide switches, there we are. New slide for round 4. why we're moving on to round 4, or 5, excuse me. And so finish up what you're saying, please, and the round 5 slide should be coming up. There's no round 5?
Do some sharing with what our groups talked about. So we're going to have a couple people going around with microphones. And if anybody wants to share with the larger group, maybe one thing that was surprising to you that came out during these discussions.
I'm coming with the mic right here.
Hello. So my group over here, we talked about a bunch of things. I'll just mention the first thing that we talked about. We were talking about how important it is to be touched, not just intellectually, but in every different way. You're right, emotionally and spiritually as well as intellectually. So I just wanted to bring that up, that we kind of miss that aspect that we have experienced in the past.
Thanks. Anybody else? Something that was surprising?
Just put it right in front of your mouth.
All right like here. Oh, I see. Stick it out in the front. So I've been elected to speak for the group, and I would call our conversation eclectic, wide-ranging. We touched on many different things, which may or may not be related to one another, but what we did do was relate to one another really well. And one of the themes, I think, that came from something that everyone said was that this place, the UU Fellowship, which is yours, not mine, because mine's in Vancouver, Washington, but this place should recharge us so that we can go out into the world and do the work that is important to us to do for social justice. Some of that work occurs within this community, of course, but a lot of it occurs outside of this community, and the people that do it depend on this community to get them ready to do it.
That's a great transition into my next question, which is really just what was one overarching theme or idea that came out of your group? Maybe you'd like to share that.
Right here. Hi. Okay, can you hear me? Is it working? Okay. So a lot of what we talked about a huge variety of different things, but was stick with, what you're good at. You don't necessarily have to always come up with the brand new thing. You can be Coke Classic, as Mark said, and so, if you're good at, potlucks, we should do potlucks all the time if we're good at potlucks. So something like that. You
want to share too? Our group talked a lot about wanting to make sure that we are intergenerational, that we listen especially to the younger congregant members about why they're here, what keeps them coming, and what will keep them coming, and how to balance the need for knowing our history, both as a congregation and as a denomination, with where we're going from here. Needing to find a way to do both of those. And we really also liked what you said about needing to come here for restoring our energy and our inspiration in order to go out into the community to do the work we want to do. Thank you.
Good morning. I think one of the things that I wasn't elected to speak, I'm just speaking. But it's around connection and what makes us connected to this community, what makes us feel as though we want to connect more people to where we are. But the overarching thing of how we, in every aspect of our lives, is even though we're so diverse, we find the connections, and I think that's really important.
Well, I'm speaking for myself as much as I am for our group. We have many people walking in and out of our doors every year, and it's important that we make them feel welcome, that those of us who are members that have been here a while try and make a connection with those people, and one of the ways we can do it is to wear our name tags.
Okay. Is it live? Is it hot?
We had an interesting circumstance, though, because we have new people in this group numbering 3. So the other circumstance is we were just trying to get to know each other. That's enough.
Okay. One takeaway from our group really was addressing the question of the decline. Why is attendance overall in faith communities declining? And our group pretty universally, all puns intended, said they didn't even know this church existed, and we were all shocked to discover it had been around for a very long time. So the driving question is, how do you get word out when you don't have, a proselyting mandate, or you don't set up booths and hand out flyers or knock on doors? How in the world do people even know that this is here? So sometimes I don't think it's a conscious, deliberate, it doesn't meet my needs. It's more, well, son of a gun, I didn't even know that existed. So I think that's a burning question as to how to approach that. I mean, it can be kind of a little smarmy, like, let's do marketing and advertising, and but it is a real legitimate question. It serves so many of our needs for so many different reasons, and yet awareness is definitely, I think, an area we need to focus on. Am I speaking okay for the group? All right, thank you.
So our group over here, I wanted to piggyback on so much that had been said. We definitely talked a lot about engaging youth in our group and how to get young people, families, and not to forget about those who are single, and how and what are they looking for in a community. And also, not that we're going to proselytize, because many of us have come from those backgrounds and we have resistance to that for good reason. But rather to let the world know we're here, to be proud of our community, and to spread that to others. We talked about the university and how we could be present at the university through actions and also through community and providing them with community. How important and essential. It just went out on me. All right, I'm back. How essential it is to be connected from a young age. So we talked about podcast. We talked about TikTok. We talked about inviting people to be social here. So when we're inviting you to be in community, that's not threatening, right? That's just opening up our space and saying, come and dance, come and eat, come and be with us, and know that we're here. So we talked about things like that. Am I missing anything? I had such a wonderful group with great ideas. And there was also a talk about when someone new shows up, and I am one of those. So I've been here a year. 2 people mentioned 2 things that I would love to get involved with that I had no idea. Why don't I know? One, I can tell you that life gets busy today, it's hectic. I have a lot of emails. So if I'm getting those newsletters, I don't even see them, right? So how do we reach out to each other and make sure you're connected in a way that's meaningful to you? No matter what your age is, no matter if you have children or not, how do we face to face, what are your needs? How can I connect you? Because those of you who know the community, I would love to talk to you about it. So please reach out to one another. That was another topic. Am I missing anything else? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So I had the same, we wanted to say the same thing where there were a lot of programs that we didn't even know about. We didn't know there was a neighbor program. Two of us didn't know, one because I'm overwhelmed with email, the other because we don't have email. So we also talked about, what is it, notifying people, so making, voicing not just concerns and joys, but also just talking about what's happening in the community, what programs we have. You know, just like we do the pastoral care every week, if we can mention all the different programs that are available. There are things that I don't know that exist here. The other thing that I wanted to mention is also, when I speak to other people about VUU, I don't exactly even know exactly what VUU is, although I feel comfortable here. I know a few things. So I feel like because we're such an unusual faith community, I think maybe we can do a little more with learning about VUU itself. So.
Our group talked a lot about the same things other people were talking about. I think a common theme that I'm hearing is the kind of marketing and getting out there perspective and multi-generational. And somebody talked to Kate here. She really would like some help because that's important to her. And this is a quote from Kate, and I just say this because I think when we talk about multi-generational, I think sometimes we get overly focused on that means we have to bring young people in. But one of the things that she said is she doesn't want to be with just people her own age. So we've got a valuable commodity here. Unfortunately, I'm one of them. But I think, we can't overlook that it's the more diversity we have, the better, but we're all really valuable as far as that diversity goes.
One of the things that we talked about is how we come here to see our friends. Because after we've been here for a while, most of our friends are in this room.
Maybe one last comment, if there's...
Got one right here, Linda. Right here?
There is a committee right now that's trying to address some of the communication and advertising problems. And I would just say, if you want to have a little discussion with people sometime during coffee, one of the debates is if we put up signs at the entrances, do we focus on a theme that says, everyone is welcome here? Or do we focus on a theme that says, this is who we are, if you're like that, we would be glad to see you? Do we focus on the details of who we are theologically and emotionally, or do we just universally say, if you're human, you're welcome here, and possibly even a dog, So that's a debate that's active, and I think it would be nice to have the debate go on in the larger community.
Well, our group talked about all the things that are going on within the community and the good things, that, for example, that there's a Buddhist group that meets prior to the service so that people within the service do not feel that there's quite enough depth, emotionally and spiritually within the hour that we have all together. So there's that really draws us in and is so helpful, and more people could join if you care. And also that reaching out to people that aren't here, that are less fortunate with eye help. I mean, that's something that really makes the congregation stand out, but also helps us unite with other congregations so that, you know, I guess most religions, when you really think about it, when you go far enough, they're all the same. But, you know, at the base, sometimes we forget that. So anyway, there are also the fact that there's active, very fine religious education here that some people don't know about. So if we know people who have children, we ask them. That might draw them in and have them come with us. So I think it's so fine to have this time to share with each other the strengths and also the things that we need to do to move forward.
Everybody for your deep listening and courageous sharing. And perhaps some of these conversations will spark more after the service or on other weeks, but at this time, we're going to have everybody move back to your original seats, and we'll hear a little music while that happens.
Find your seats in the middle. Thank you.
Now come to our time for the offering. The first training that the Buddha gave for everyone was the practice of giving. To practice generosity is the most basic way to experience freedom. Generosity, the feeling that supports true giving, temporarily releases you from the pain of selfishness. An uncomplicated joy can arise, along with the relief of taking a break from being wrapped up in yourself. Generosity is the ideal starting point in learning how to let go of self-centeredness and foreseeing that a deep joy comes from releasing whatever it is you're holding on to too tightly in a given moment. Holding on to me and mine and what I want can create inner problems. Letting go can be the solution. Will the ushers please come forward now? May you live a loved life. May you never diminish your mind or limit your heart. May you stand calm in a wide moment between sky that lifts you and gravity that grounds you. May you let loving unfurl you, then give you away. May you remember you are nest, harbor, garden. May you pass life forward so that which came from those before you and that which grows in those next to you go on to those who will follow you. And let us say together the words by which we extinguish our chalice. Though we extinguish the chalice, our connection to each other and this community remains. May its light guide us this week as we walk the path of justice, speak words of love, and fill our world with compassion until we meet again. Go in peace.